Thank you, everyone. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Alright, so we'll start with last week. Let me share my screen. Everyone. Oh, okay. So we are in chapter 3 of Bhagavad Gita. 26 sloka we complete. Last week we were discussing about that why we should perform our prescribed duties, whatever situation we are in. And even Krishna says that na me parthasti kartavyam trilokeshu kinchana nanavaptyam avaptavyam varta eva chakarmani. He says, O son of Pritha, there is no work prescribed for me within the all planetary, three planetary system, nor I am in want of anything, nor have I a need to obtain anything, yet I am engaged in prescribed duties. And he says that if I ever fail to engage in carefully performing my prescribed duties, then Upartha, certainly all men would follow my path. Why? Because if I did not perform the prescribed duties, all the three worlds put into ruination. And I would be the cause of creating unwanted population and would certainly thereby destroy the peace of all living entities. And यदा यदा चरति श्रेष्ठ स्वस्ते देवरतो जना यसा यत प्रमाणम कुरुते लोकस्त anuvartate. That whatever action a great man performs, a common man follow, and whatever standard he set by exemplary act, all the world pursues. The 21 is sloka. And then he keeps on saying, so he says that if I don't work, then all the three planetary system will put into ruination, which means he is the owner of all three planetary system, which he will confirm later also. And we were giving example of a company owner, we were giving Kamini Mataji example that if she is a owner and she has to sometime go and correct things because things don't go right. And we understood that way last week. And then we were here. So as the ignorant people perform duties for attachment to result, we have to work in the same way, but without attachment to the results. We offer results to Krishna. And why should we work? For sake of leading people on right path. You know, all of us are leader in some sphere. Even if you are a family member or husband, wife, you're leading your family. You're giving example to your kids, right? So everyone is leader. Everyone is leader in some sense. No one is. No one can say that I'm not a leader. Even if you are a kid, you have a position in your school or in your house, or depending on which number of which. Suppose if you're a elder kid, you're leading for someone in your own kid community. So everybody is leading. And even if you're not leading, in future you'd be leading. Because at some point you will have responsibility, and then you'd be leading some sphere in your life, right? Because somebody can say, oh, I'm just a kid, I don't do anything, I'm not leading. But if you just do your duty right, you will set an example for others that, oh, this person is so nice, so nicely doing that, living the life, not harming anyone, and very pious and very thoughtful person, doesn't talk nonsense, doesn't say, do nonsense. So, so either case, we should just do for the sake of doing as a matter of duty. And in future, people may take us an example. And even if they don't take, then we just work for satisfaction of Krishna without attachment to results, right? So that's then also don't ask him to stop working, right? Rather, by working in the spirit of devotion, he should engage them all sort of activities. So that is the Krishna consciousness. Like we approach people, we say them, my dear sir, ma'am, can you read Bhagavad Gita? Do you mind reading? Do you want to try Bhagavad Gita? Do you want to try Hare Krishna Mahamantra chanting? It will help you to get peaceful, nice, and cool down in life, right? Because everybody is struggling hard in whatever situation. So we approach them, even if they say, you know, suppose if you say, can you chant Hare Krishna? And they'll say, oh, you are Babaji, you know, you are want to make me Babaji. They will be like talking a lot of nonsense. But we still approach because we feel compassion for them. We are compassionate. That, if I don't approach, then this jiva, this soul may lose the opportunity which they may have in this life. So that's why we approach people with various propaganda, various opportunities to engage them in Krishna consciousness, right? Okay, so now we are starting with 27 today. So that's the background, just a little bit refresher. 27, this is very important one. Try to remember this sloka. Prakirte kriyamānāni gune karmāni sarvasa ahankara vibhūnātma karta hamiti manyate. Okay. So before I go on reading translation purport, I'll recite prayer. Upajnanitimirandhasya jnananjana-salakaya चक्षुरुपूर्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्रीकृष्ण श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणललितां तातं सजीवम् शाद्वैतं शावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् श्रीगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्तांश्च हे कृष्णकरुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी विश्वानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। So let's read translation and purport. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A. Shri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. The spirit soul, bewildered by influence of false ego, thinks himself the doer of activities that are in actuality carried out by the three modes of material nature. Purport. Two persons, one in Krishna consciousness, another in material consciousness, working on the same level, may appear to be working on the same platform, but there is a wide gulf of difference in their respective positions. The person in material consciousness is convinced by false ego that he is the doer of everything. He doesn't know that the mechanism of the body is produced by material nature, which works under the supervision of Supreme Lord. The materialistic person have no knowledge that ultimately he is under the control of Krishna. The person in false ego takes all credit for doing everything independently, and that is a symptom of his nascence. He doesn't know that this gross body and subtle body is the creation of material nature under the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and as such, his bodily and mental activities should be engaged in the service of Krishna, in Krishna consciousness. The ignorant man forget that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is known as Rishikesh, or the master of the senses of the material body. For due to his long misuse of the senses in sense gratification, he is factually bewildered by false ego, which makes him forget his eternal relationship with Krishna. So this is sloka, as you see, प्रकृति क्रियमाणानि गुणे कर्माणि सर्वश अहंकार विमूढ़ात्मा करता हम इति मन्यते, right? So this ahankar, ahankar, we need, actually most of people don't talk about it, and they appreciate it. If you have an ego of something, that, oh, you should be proud of what you have. Yes, yes, you should be proud. So it's the same way. Suppose if you hire an employee and you are owner of the company, and after employee works for you, suppose 30 years, an employee becomes so proud of his working that, oh, now I know more than my boss. And I can work independently because I have been working from 30 years. I do what I do. My boss never came and did it. Actually, my boss even doesn't know what to do. We start thinking like that, and this happens. After people get a lot of time spending in our organization, we start thinking like that, and that builds an ahankar, pride, and then person starts doing all kind of nonsense. They think that they can break the rules. They think that I can do the way I want. I'm expert. I'm experienced, and that they create disturbance. So ahankar is good if it is applied rightly. For example, we all can be proud of that I am the son and daughter of Krishna. Okay, we can be proud that, oh, my eternal father is not a small person. My father is the owner of the cosmic manifestation. My father is very kind. My father provides this facility. That is good pride. That's not bad, because that way you are recognizing the higher authority and you are being proud. But what if we say, I deserve this? I should get this. It's my life. I achieved this. But in that I achieving, how many people helped you? First of all, you should be grateful to your father and mother. They gave you birth. They help you to grow. They gave you education. Your teachers gave you education. Your society protected it. Your relatives and society gave you some point affection. Now they don't love. That's different. But at some point in life, they were affectionate. And if you can say no, from birth itself, I'm yogi. I am renounced. Somebody can say, I am from birth itself. I have no obligation beside my father and mother. Okay, they can say that. But this body, which is made up of five material element, this false ego. So there are, if you remember, we discussed last, couple of sessions. This body is made up of. There are two bodies in this body. One, what you see, earth, air, water, ether, fire, five Panch Mahabhutas, called gross body, which you can see, you can experience my body. But there is something called subtle body, like mind, intelligence, and false ego, the big brother. The subtle body is also there. You cannot see it, but it is there. You can experience it. Like, I'm speaking to you. My mind is thinking, telling my tongue to speak. I'm looking at you. My eyes are directed by my mind to look at it. If mind says, close the eyes, I close the eye. Right? Intelligence says what to look at, because right now on my screen, I see four people. I can look at whatever I like. I can look at Hital Mataji, or I can look at Kamini Mataji, I can look at Nagrani Mataji. But depending on what I am looking at, my intelligence will take, okay, look at this. Don't look at all the other three things. Otherwise, I'll be crazy, okay, let me look everywhere, right? So the intelligence is kind of discriminates. Okay, focus. Now, if my ego says, I don't want to look at anyone, though I should be looking at it, because if somebody is talking to me, I should be communicating straight. But my ego says, no, I don't want to look at this person. I just turned my face out of my ego. It happens. So that is not right. That is ahankar atma. Ahankar, this false ego. Ego is good, but false ego bewilders. It takes away your intelligence. Bewilderment means the intelligence is zero now. The ego is like dominating, right? So, and because of that, we don't realize that this body which is working, I'm not doing anything. You eat, all we eat food. After tongue, we don't know what happens, how it is getting digested, what kind of nutrients you are getting, how your heart is working. When you sleep, you are in dream. You have no control over body. You're just unconscious in the sleep. Every day we sleep. Who is maintaining that body? Who is protecting? Nobody is protecting. It's Krishna in Super Soul. He's protecting your body. We don't realize, but daily, every moment, things can finish in a moment. One earthquake, the building can collapse. You know, no control over it. Nobody can save us, like literally. And this whole body, people sleep, and in the morning they are dead. Like nowadays it's very common get heart attack while sleeping, and even young people like 30, 40, they die in sleep. Right? It's you very common. So we don't have control over this gross body, and forget about subtle body. The mind, intelligence, ego, no control at all, right? So therefore, why we should become so much ego, false ego of what? Ego of what, right? Because we don't know how much how much we have control over, and literally we don't have control over anything. We cannot even control our sleep, our breathing. We cannot control our breathe more than 2 3 minutes, right? Maximum 5 minutes. So, but we feel that we are controller because why? Because of this false ego. And we have to get rid of false ego and switch to real ego. The real ego is that I'm the part of Krishna. Krishna is my supreme father. My relationship is with Krishna and I have to serve him. That's my eternal relationship. Right? That is good ego. But all other egos are bad one, right? So let's go to the 28. Who wants to read this one?
Can I read, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mantuji. You can read, Mataji, please.
I'll read.
Yes.
Okay, let her read. Let her.
Who is reading? Nobody is saying anything.
Okay. तत्व विनोतो महाबाहो गुण कर्मा विभागयोः गुणा गुणषु वर्तन्त इति मत्वा न सज्जते. One who is in knowledge of absolute truth, O mighty arm, does not engage himself in the sense and the sense gratification, knowing well the difference between the work and devotion and work for fruitive results. Purport. The knower of the absolute truth is convinced for his awkward position in material association. He knows that he is a part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of the Godhead Krishna, and that his position should not be in the material creation. He knows that he he knows his real identity as a part and parcel of the Supreme, who is eternal bliss and knowledge, and he realizes that somehow or the other he is entrapped in the material conceptions of life. In his pure state of existence, he is meant to devote his activities in the devotional service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. He therefore engages himself in activities of Krishna consciousness and becomes naturally unattached to the activities of the material senses, which are all circumstantial and temporary. He knows that his material conditions of life is under the supreme control of Lord. Consequently, he is not disturbed by any kind of the material reaction, which he considers to be the mercy of Lord. According to Srimad Bhagavatam, one who knows the absolute truth of the three different features, namely Brahman, Paramatma, the Supreme Personality of the Lord, is called Tattvavit, for he knows all his factual position in relationship with the Supreme.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare
Yes,
Krishna.
so you see, Hare Krishna. So only three things are there. In spiritual life, three things. We should know what we are. We should know what God is, what Krishna is. And then what is our relationship with Krishna? And then we should execute that relationship. That is sum and substance of spiritual life. You know, most of us actually not convinced that we are part and parcel of Krishna. We think so many things we are, but we not definitely not part and parcel of Krishna. Because the moment you think that you are part and parcel of Krishna, then your life will be dedicated for Krishna, right? So there is a some kind of confusion there, and that's the process. This Krishna consciousness, this chanting, hearing, reading Bhagavad Gita, is to get rid of that confusion with knowledge. Because when you have a knowledge, you are not confused, right? Right now, we are in all are in confused state. We don't know who we are. We don't know who Krishna is, and even we know when our false ego is in between. The false ego doesn't allow us to even recognize like or experience that relation, because our false ego thinks, our mind says, Purushottam, you are part and parcel of Krishna. Then false ego says, no. If you become part and parcel, then what is your identity? You are independent. You should work independently. How can you be subordinate to anyone? Then your intelligence says, no. Bhagavad Gita says this is the real information. The ego says, oh, I know Bhagavad Gita, but right now I'm not ready for it. So let me do what I want to do. This is what constantly going on. You know, we get no information, then our mind get little convinced, then mind gives regions to intelligence, and then intelligence not is kind of confused. Then the false ego is like, you know, let's do what we should do be doing. This is fine, but I don't want to live in that relationship. It's better to live independently. Who knows if there is Krishna? There's so many confusions, and this it is condensed form of confusion called false ego. You know, so therefore we need to learn this from Bhagavad Gita and then apply in our life. Text 29. Who wants to read this one?
Can I read?
Yes, Kamini Mataji.
प्रकृतेः गुण समुदा संजते गुणकर्मसु तन्नाकृतस्य विदो मंदा कुत्र सन्न भिन्न विचारयेत् bewildered by the mode of material nature, the ignorant fully engage themselves in material activities and become attached. But the wise should not unsettle them, although these duties are inferior due to the performer's lack of knowledge. Purpose. Persons who are unknowledgeable falsely identify with gross material consciousness with the full of material designation. This body is gift of material nature, and one who is too much attached to the bodily consciousness is called manda, the lazy person, without understanding the spirit soul. Ignorant men think of the body as self. They accept bodily connection with order as a kinsmanship, and land which the body is obtained is their object of worship, and they consider the formalities of religious rituals to be ends in themselves. Social work, nationalism, and altruism are some of the activities for such materially designated persons. Under the spell of such designations, they are always busy in the material field. For them, spiritual realization is myth, so they are not interested. Those who are enlightened in spiritual life, however, should not try to agitate such materially engrossed persons. Better to prosecute one's own spiritual activities silently. Such bewildered persons may be engaged in such primary moral principles of life as non-violence and similarly materially benevolent work. Men who are ignorant cannot appreciate activities in Krishna consciousness, and therefore Lord Krishna advises us not to disturb them
and simply waste valuable time. But the devotees of Lord are more kind than the Lord because they understand the purpose of Lord. Consequently, they undertake all kinds of risk, even to the point of approaching ignorant man to try to engage them in the act of Krishna consciousness, which are absolutely necessary for the human beings. Mai sarvani
Hare Krishna
karmani.
Mataji, you can just pause for 2 minutes. So, thank you so much.
Welcome.
So here, very nice thing given. So all of you may have tried to distribute book or ask people to take Bhagavad Gita, right? Or ask them to give some sponsorship. The standard response is, I don't want to engage in religious work. They think this is religion. If you ask them, can you do this? Can you take Bhagavad Gita? They will say no, because I would prefer to donate for dog, cat, or no, some hungry person, some kind of non-Krishna conscious activity, but I cannot do this. Why? Because here is the reason. The Krishna is saying that these people are manda. This tan akratam vido mandam. Manda, why? They are lazy, without understanding of spiritual soul. And why they are ladylike? Because they think body is the self. They think this body is the self, and anything connected with the body is very important. For example, this body is born in, suppose somebody born in certain state or country, they think I am belong to this state and land where I'm born. All the body relations are very important, you know. So the land become worshipable, like Bharat Mata ki jai. No offense to anything, but you should understand this body now born here, tomorrow born there. What is that fellowship, right? And they consider religious activities end. Like for example, some people worship demigods. They think this is end of it. There is nothing. I will do once in a month ritual, and I'm happy. And even if somebody wants to go beyond work, social work, nationalism, altruism, so they will say, I want to do social work, but I don't want to do any kind of activity like Bhagavad Gita. I don't want to learn, even don't understand it. Why? Because they think everything related with body is important, and there is no soul. They don't believe in soul and all. That there is no question of it. And if you talk about Bhagavad Gita, they will say it is a myth. They will say, Prabhupada is saying here, they are first of all, they'll say, I'm busy, I don't have time. Therefore, I don't need Bhagavad Gita. And if you persist them, they will say, oh, this is a myth. I'm not interested. So Krishna says, don't agitate them. Don't agitate such people. Because if you constantly ask them, they get agitated at some point. Like they just don't want to even talk to you. Right? But here Prabhupada is saying, yes, Krishna says that don't do it. Don't waste your time. But we know that Krishna loves everyone. He's Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam. He's the affectionate father to everyone. So even, you know, the father is saying that my dear son and daughter, don't disturb these ignorant kids or childs. But we know what Krishna wants. Krishna wants everyone to learn about their relationship with him and understand what they are. So therefore, we'll take all the risk. We approach such ignorant people out of compassion that I know you are struggling hard in life. I know you are going through so much in life. Why don't you try to understand what is your position? How should you live your life? What Gita is teaching? And that becomes very pleasing. Consider this. Suppose, suppose a person, suppose Nagrani Mataji, okay, let's take her example. She has three kids, okay. Two kids are haywire, two kids are not interested in anything. They just want to live free life. Don't want to listen to even Nagrani Mataji. But one kid is very sincere, want to listen.
That's true
So,
also, Prabhuji.
Okay, so Krishna is speaking through me. Okay. So the one kid which is sincere, what she will say? She will say, "My dear kid, you are nice. You just do your duty. Don't go and talk to these two people because they will trouble you. Even they will spoil you also. So it's better you focus what I told you. You just follow that, and you will be successful in life." But the other two kids, even if the Nagrani Mataji or her nice kid goes and talk to them, they will be ignorant. They will be like, "You are just bacha of your mother. You don't understand how the world works. You are just, like a kid. Still you are baby, right?" They will treat him like a baby, not knowing that their position is bad and other kid position is right. But the kid, when he grow up or she grow up, she knows what Nagrani Mataji want. She knows heart of her mother. That my mother still loves other two kids, even if they are ignorant to her. So let me go out of my way and talk to those kids to let them get back to Nagrani Mataji and make it a family, because we don't want this happening. So, though even Nagrani Mataji will constantly say, "Don't go to them, they will trouble you," but that other kid will go and do this, that will be very pleasing to Nagrani Mataji, because then she'll think, "Oh, how much risk my this one nice kid is taking for my happiness, because he or he wants to make me happy, and therefore he or she is going and taking risk to talk to these two ignorant people who don't listen to me. And if they listen and come back, Nagrani Mata will be very happy and will reward anything for that one kid, because that one kid took the risk." Similarly, when you approach asking people for Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is same way happy. Remember, even if you're not successful, even like Nagrani Mataji, the nice kid is not successful. He or she just approaching and doing the act, he will be happy. "Oh, this kid is trying so much for me." Same way Krishna becomes happy when you try. That's why we ask all of you to try. Just try, and that make you perfect. You don't expect result, what will happen, how, because Krishna is watching. Krishna is seeing, oh, how much this son of or daughter of mine is trying so much hard to give my message to other family member, which is also my family member, whether they are ignorant or rogues, thieves, whatever. They're bewildered, they're mudhas, they're lazy, but still, just because you're trying, Krishna is very happy with it, right? So remember this, when you try, even if you're not successful, but give a try, ask them, and then Krishna is pleased. That's it. You want to please Krishna, you're not trying to please next person. Next person may accept and reject, no problem. Even if they reject, our ego is crushed, because our ego is so much ego we have. We approach them and they reject it, we feel, "Oh, how much small I am." You also discover who is your friend, because if they are rejecting you constantly, they are not your real friend. Because if they have little friendship, they will even consider your one request at least once upon a time, right? So then you discover in your own relationship who is what, who is my good friend, who is not, right? Does that make sense to everyone?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Isn't it? You will be happy, right? If the other kid just try to bring them back, right?
Yes, yes.
Even
That
he or she is unsuccessful, he's just not able to do it, but just trying itself is so satisfying to the parent or to the father or mother, right?
yes, Prabhuji. That's true.
The same way Krishna is pleased. Remember, any books you ask or just asking it, Krishna is pleased. You know, don't worry about result, and that's why this is a wonderful opportunity, because we may not know so much knowledge to preach, but these books are written already. Prabhupada is sharing on realization. If one person read just one page, they may change their life. They realize, "Oh, what I'm doing," right? So much information here. Therefore, this literature should go on, right? So let's go to the 31, sorry, 30. Yes,
Okay, I'll
30.
read.
Okay.
Nagrani Mataji wants to read. She's done.
No.
Mataji, I'll read on Saturday, Mataji. Today.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
मयि सर्वाणि कर्माणि सन्न्यस्याध्यात्म चेतसा निरासीनि निर्ममो भुवा युध्यस्व विगतजरः. Therefore, O Arjuna, surrender all your works unto me with full knowledge of me, without desires for profit, with no claim to proprietorship and free from lethargy, fight. Purport. This verse clearly indicates the purpose of Bhagavad Gita. Lord instructs that one has to become full Krishna conscious to discharge duty as if in the military discipline. Such an injunction may make things a little difficult. Nevertheless, duties must be carried out with dependence on Krishna because that is the constitutional position of the living entity. The living entity cannot be happy independent of the cooperation of the Supreme Lord, because the eternal constitutional position of the living entity is to become subordinate to the desire of Lord. Arjuna is therefore ordered by Sri Krishna to fight as if Lord were his military commander. One has to sacrifice everything for the goodwill of Supreme Lord and at the same time discharge prescribed duty without claiming proprietorship. Arjuna did not have to consider the order of the Lord. He had only to execute his order. The Supreme Lord is the soul of all souls. Therefore, one who depends solely and wholly on the Supreme Lord without personal consideration, or in other words, one who is fully Krishna conscious, is called Adhyama Setas Narsimha. Means
It's called Adhyatma Chetasa.
Acha, Adhyatma
Chetasa.
Chetasa Narsimha means the one who has to act on the order of the master but should not expect fruitful results. The cashier may be counting millions of dollars for his employer, but he does not claim a cent for himself. Similarly, one has to realize that nothing in the world belongs to any individual person, but that everything belongs to Supreme Lord. That is the real purport of Mai, or onto me. When one acts in such Krishna consciousness, certainly he does not claim proprietorship over anything. This consciousness is called nirmama. Nirmama, or nothing is mine. And if there is any reluctance to execute such a stern order, which is without consideration and of so-called kingsmen in the bodily relationship, the reluctance should be thrown off. In this way, one may become Vigyata Jwara, or without feverish mentally or lethargy. Everyone, according to his quality and position, has a particular type of work to discharge, and all such desires may be discharged in Krishna consciousness as described above. That will lead to one path of liberalization. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So one word you always read, this is called not liberalization, called liberation. Liberation means people want to achieve nirvana. People in Buddhism, they call nirvana liberation. Liberation means you liberated. You are not under control of anything, right? So you understood. I think this is a lot of things we already discussed, so I'll not spend much time, but the main point here Krishna is saying, surrender all works unto me with full knowledge of me, without desire for profit, no claims to proprietors, are free from authority and fight. Mayi sarvani karmani shanyas adhyatma chetasa Nirasi nirmamo bhutva yugatsva vigata jwara. Right? So this is the same thing we have to do, like a cashier. We know cashier knows I'm an employee. My job is to count money and then give money who belongs to whom. Doesn't belongs to me. I just get my salary for my maintenance of my life. That's it. The same way we should live our life. That I'm given this task of whatever position you are in your life, and you're trying to execute your duty, what Krishna has provided. And always remember Krishna is in control. Krishna is looking everything, and nothing belongs to you. Your only belonging is that you are servant of Krishna, and you just execute his order as given in Bhagavad Gita, because Bhagavad Gita is also called manual of life. It's a manual how to live life. And if we learn this manual and apply in life every moment, our life is easy. And we'll not face a lot of challenges. And even if we face, we know how to solve it. Because manual is nothing but a instruction. For example, suppose if you have a mixer in your house and suddenly it stops working, then you look at the manual. Oh, what is the notification and what is the solution? Because the manual has the codes for every error, and then you look at the description of error and you solve it. They tell you, okay, switch it on, switch it off, press this button, you try this, right? Same way, this Bhagavad Gita is called Manual of Life, and if we apply like that, then, and to apply, we have to learn first manual. And even if you don't learn it, you should have manual so that you can open and go to the page number this. This is the solution for this problem. And then you learn from expert how to apply. Because suppose if you try yourself, you don't know how to fix your machine, then you call technician or tech support. I have this problem, what to do? And then they will tell you, okay, I know so many people face similar problem with this machine in past. You try this, you try that, you try this, and something may work for you, right? So likewise in life, we should do the same way. Okay, we should take life very seriously. That this is very important life, and I have a manual Bhagavad Gita. Why manual Bhagavad Gita? Because Krishna is creator of everything. He created us, created our life, created this world. So he knows better how to navigate this world because he created everything. Like for example, for this phone, I have this Oppo phone. The Oppo phone manual will be created by Oppo manufacturer only. I cannot take iPhone manual and solve the problem in Oppo phone, right? Because the Oppo manufacturer knows this, that how does this work, what is the functions, what are the things in it. Similarly, Krishna is the creator. He knows actually who we are, what is our role, how this world work, how we can live peacefully in this world. And he gave all that instruction in this is Bhagavad Gita. So therefore, Bhagavad Gita considered the topmost knowledge. Why? Because it is given by manufacturer of this cosmic manifestation. And there is no other, all other literatures are secondary. Why? Because they are just deriving, say, from the Bhagavad Gita mostly. And Krishna says, if you remember, we recently read whole Bhagavad Gita in 18th chapter. At the end, he says, there is, and Prabhupada writes in introduction of Bhagavad Gita also, there is everything what you can find in other literature present in Bhagavad Gita. And there is also something which is, you will not find anywhere. That is also present here, right? Because it is topmost knowledge coming directly from the owner of this cosmic manifestation, which is Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, so text 31. It's a small one. And let me see. We can do 31, 32 quickly, and 33. Takes 5 minutes. Okay. So 31. Okay, yes.
Hare Krishna. ये मे मतमिद्ध नित्यमनु मनुतिष्ठन्ति मानवाः सद्यावन्तो न सूयतो यन्तो मुच्यते तेपि कर्मभिः. Those persons who execute their duty according to my injunctions and who follow their teaching faithfully without envy become free from the bondage of fruitful actions. Purport. The injunction of the Supreme Personality of the Godhead, Krishna, is the essence of all the Vedic wisdom and therefore is eternally true without exception. As the Vedas are eternal, so their truth of Krishna consciousness is also eternal. One should have firm faith in this injunction without envying the Lord. There are many philosophers who write comments on Bhagavad Gita but have no faith in Krishna. They will never be liberated from the bondage of fruitful action. But an ordinary man with a firm faith of in the eternal injunctions of Lord, even though unable to execute such order, becomes liberated from the bondage of the law of karma. In the beginning of Krishna consciousness, one may not fully discharge the injunction of for the Lord. But because one is not resentful of these principles and works sincerely without considering a defeat or hopelessness, he will surely be promoted to the stage of pure Krishna consciousness. Further, I'll read.
Thank you. I think Kamini Mataji wants to read.
Okay, read.
Thank you, Mataji.
Ye tva itad abhisyunto nanoti shanti me matam sarva janana vimudham tan vidhi natsana ese tasaha. But those who out of envy disregard these teachings and do not follow them regularly are to be considered bereft of all knowledge, be fooled and ruined in their endeavor for perfection. Purport. The flow of not viewing Krishna consciousness is clearly stated herein, as there is punishment for disobedience to the order of the Supreme Executive Head. So there is certainly punishment for disobedience to the order of Supreme Personality of Godhead. A disobedient person, however great he may be, is ignorant of his own self and of Supreme Brahman, Paramatma, and personality of Godhead, due to a vacant heart. Therefore, there is no hope of perfection of life for him. Sadrishyam cheshtate swasyaha prakrute ganya chavanapi parakratim yanti bhutani niragraha kim krisyanti. Even a man of knowledge act according to his own nature. For everyone follow the nature he has acquired from these three modes. What can repression accomplish? Purport. Unless one is situated on the transcendental platform of the Krishna consciousness, he cannot get free from the influence of the model material nature, as it is confirmed by the Lord in the 7th chapter 7:14. Therefore, even for the most highly educated person on the mundane plane, it is impossible to get out of entanglement of Maya simply by theoretical knowledge, by the separating the soul from the body. There are many so-called spiritualists who outwardly pose as advanced in the science, but inwardly or privately are completely under particular modes of nature which they are unable to surpass. Academically, in one way, be very learned. One way, be very learned, but because of his long association with the material nature, he is in bondage. Krishna consciously helps one who get out of the material alignment, even though one may be engaged in the prescribed duties of terms of the material existence. Therefore, without being fully in Krishna consciousness, one should not give up his occupational duties, No one should suddenly give up his prescribed duties and become so-called yogi or transcendentalist artificially. It is better to be situated in one's position and to try to attain Krishna consciousness under superior training. Thus, one may be freed from the clutches of Krishna Maya.
Thank you, Mataji. So that was the last sloka. So in 32, in 30, Krishna is saying that surrender unto me with full knowledge of me, without desire for profit and no claim of proprietorship, free from lethargy, fight. Now he says, if you execute this, the persons who execute my duties according to my injunctions, follow this teaching faithfully without envy, become free from bondage of fruitive actions, like Papa and Punya and all that, right? In our life. But those who don't do and disregard these teaching, the people who don't believe in Bhagavad Gita, what will happen to them? They will be fooled in all knowledge and ruined in endure for perfection. That's why, why the very intelligent people are also depressed. They take drugs and pills to sleep. They are very academically very advanced, and professors and doctors and politicians and influencers, social media, and they commit suicide. Why? Because they don't know how to manage their own life. They manage the whole followership, whole big companies, big institution, Hollywood, Bollywood, but they don't know how to manage their own life. Why? Because they don't read the manual of life, Bhagavad Gita, and they have no knowledge about it. Therefore, they are trying to. Everybody is trying to achieve perfection, but they don't know what is perfection, how to get perfection, and therefore they are ruined in that endeavor. They are trying to get more money, more beautiful, more healthy, more wealthy, more bodily strength, more power. And then Krishna is saying here what happens. Even a man of, he's saying, don't try to suppress your nature. You are in, everybody has different nature, all of us. You are in, how I have what nature, what kind of work you are doing. For example, suppose if you are a housewife or you are, you are an employee, you have certain nature. You have Krishna arranged a job or task for you right now in your life. Stay there. Don't give up. But just add Krishna into it. That's what it is saying. That don't think that, oh, now everything is bad, let me leave this. Because Arjuna was thinking the same way. He thought, let me leave this battlefield. I should not fight, even if I'm a Kshatriya. Because, what is the point? Why I should fight and kill people? But no, Krishna is saying, stay there. But just add Krishna and continue your life. And Krishna will ensure that you get out of this all bondage, family, nationality, country, relation, and you realize your relation with Krishna. It will take time. It cannot happen in few weeks, few months, few years. It may take years or few lifetime. But at least what I'm on right path. And even if you fail, Krishna assures there is no loss and diminution in this endeavor. Wherever you will stop, you will continue from there. Start. There is no loss. You don't have to go back to zero. So either way, it's win-win, right? Because you are following rules and regulation, you are living your life nicely. This life is nice. You are satisfied, and next life also will be nice because then Krishna is watching as a super soul. He will go with you in next body, and he will provide you next facility how you can continue this journey on Krishna consciousness, right? So with that, we'll end here for today's discussion. Any questions, comments? We can take it. Thank you so much for attentive listening and participating.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
In Shloka 33, last line, thus one may be freed from clutches of Krishna's Maya. From
Yeah,
Krishna's Maya only.
yeah. Maya is created by Krishna. Yeah,
Okay.
it's
Okay.
like this. It's like this. In a government, you have welfare department, you have health department, you have education, you have finance, but you also have police and prison, right? You have police and prison department managed by the government only. So you cannot say government is wrong because they maintain police and prison, because prison is for one who don't follow. So this Maya is the jailer of the prison, the head of the prison. And this world is considered, Krishna will tell later in Bhagavad Gita, it's prison house. People who don't like Krishna, Krishna send it here. Go. And in prison also, the government provide all the facility. They give security, state place to live, place to eat, education. Why? So that the prisoners reform, and so that they can be released back into society. If they reform nicely, their prison time will decrease. They will be given parole and go back live normal life. So same way Krishna maintains this, and Maya Devi is kind of jailer taking care of this facility. She has very thankless task. Remember, same example. If one of your sibling is bad and you have to control it, Maya is also Krishna's creation, but she has to control these all of us in this prison house. And therefore, that's the situation. And Krishna will in chapter 7 will explain about this world, how it is working. Okay? But now for you should know everything is creation of Krishna, therefore Maya is also creation of Krishna
Okay.
for our improvement, so that we reform. We get slapped and then we realize, oh, I'm doing something wrong, and then okay, let me find out what is right. So the Maya's job is to just, he has 10 hands, everything with weapons, constantly reminding us, okay. And she has three modes: goodness, passion, ignorance, and everybody is working in three modes. And she places people depending on what part, what, just like in jail, there are different level of jail rooms: class A room, class B room, class 3 rooms, right? Some people are given no light, no sunlight, because they're so nasty. Even if they get little space, they will run out. So likewise, that's ignorance. There are some people given some task to do. They will give it some job in jails. They will earn some money. That's passion. They want doing something nice. They are sober, but there is goodness also. There are some nice saintly person. They will get all facility nicely. They chanting Hare Krishna in jail and happy and telling everyone, don't hate anyone, be nice. Then jail will take a special care of them. Even jailer will come, oh, this is saintly person. Somehow or other, this person came here. Let me not trouble this person. And then the saintly person will get released early, because that's very nice. Anyways, that's the purpose of jail, to reform them. Jail is not to punish, jail is to reform. The main purpose of jail is to reform everyone. So when the government puts someone in jail, does not mean they are like trying to kill them, but just to reform, so that they realize their mistake, they improve on it, and they come back to social life if possible, right? So even people get life imprisonment, but if they do nice in jail, they can be released early. They don't have to live whole life. They can save some 20 year, 10 year in their life and live a normal life, right? But the government will take care of in jail also, outside also, same way. It just treatment is different, right?
Okay.
Does that make
Gotcha.
give you a like comprehensive view, so that you get like sense why this Maya? Yes, it is creation of Krishna. Okay, because if you see the previous line in the same, under superior training, situate in one's position and try to attain Krishna consciousness under superior training. So jail also gives you training to become nice person. And realize what under superior, which is a jailer. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
So let's end here. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यो च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Thank you so much for joining. We'll see you on Saturday. All right.
Thank you. Thank you. Hare
Happy
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.